Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So since 1975, Social Security beneficiaries have been getting much lower increases than what they should be, but that could be changing a lot in the near future. So we'll be covering that. Plus, in a new survey, most Americans believe that we are going to be headed towards a new World War III, within the next 5 to 10 years, so we'll be covering that as well. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $10,000 in free stocks, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Moomoo. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then deposit at least $100. At that point, Moomoo will be sending you at least 5 free stocks worth all the way up to $10,000. And if you'd really just have the cash, all you have to do is once you receive the free stocks is just sell them for what they're worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so over the last few years, there has been a lot of chaos on the global scale. Of course, we had Russia invading Ukraine. We had the whole deal going on in Israel as well. And then, of course, we have China possibly invading Taiwan in the near future. Definitely a lot of chaos at the world level. And we have a lot of people speculating, like, are we, going to be headed towards another world war? Is World War III on the brink of happening already? And perhaps, maybe we're already in World War III and we don't even know it yet. I guess only history will let us know that within like the next 20 to 25 years. We'll definitely have to wait and see. But according to a new survey, at least, most Americans believe that we are going to be in World War III at some point within the next 5 to 10 years. So according to The Hill, most Americans say that there will be another world war in the next 5 to 10 years, according to a new YouGov survey. Around 61% of Americans in the survey said it is either very likely or somewhat likely that another world war will happen in the next 5 to 10 years. About 18% of Americans in the same survey said they are not sure about the likelihood of another world war in the same amount of time. The survey also found that about 21% of Americans saying that another world war happening in the next 5 to 10 years is not very likely or not at all likely. Representative Jared Moskowitz in Florida said last month that recent comments by former President Trump about NATO were setting the stage for another world war. He took issue with comments Trump made at a rally in which he said he would not protect European countries in NATO if they were delinquent in payments to the security alliance. He said, quote, Donald Trump, with what he's talking about dealing with Russia, if Russia would start invading Europe, that would start World War III, by the way, Moskowitz said in an interview on MSNBC's Morning Joe. He went on to say that Donald Trump is talking about that and setting the stage. You can be sure that every single world leader other than Vladimir Putin saw that and said, there is no way America can have him back as president. Other findings in the YouGov survey included about 53% of Americans saying that Western nations and their allies would win in a conflict between them and Russia and their allies. Only about 11% said Russia and its allies would win over the West and its allies. So let me know your thoughts in comments below. Do you believe that we are going to be headed towards another world war within the next 5 to 10 years, or perhaps even sooner than that? Or do you believe that more than likely that is not going to happen? Also, let me know your thoughts in comments below about Donald Trump and Donald Trump actually increasing the likelihood of a World War III happening. Obviously, we have some people saying that, look, whenever Donald Trump was president, we did not have Russia invading Ukraine. Russia waited to invade Ukraine once Joe Biden became president. Perhaps someone who likes Joe Biden might say, oh, that was just coincidental that they would have done the same thing under Trump. But let me know your thoughts in comments below. Do you believe that Donald Trump would decrease or increase the likelihood of World War III? And let me know the same thing about Joe Biden in the comment section below. Now, in some other news, of course, since 1975, Social Security beneficiaries have been getting increases much lower than what they should be. But of course, that may change in the very near future. And we have a survey that was put out by the Senior Citizens League, where 80% of retirees believe that the COLA, or the cost of living adjustment, should be higher every single year. They believe that it is not high enough. So according to the Senior Citizens League, the 3.2% Social Security cost of living adjustment is well above the 2.6% average over the past 2 decades. Still, according to a new survey by the Senior Citizens League, 80% of retirees think Congress should beef up inflation protection by providing a COLA that more closely reflects inflation experienced by older adults. Some senior advocates, including the Senior Citizens League, have proposed using a, quote, senior CPI to determine the annual COLA. If that were the law today, the COLA in 2024 would be almost a percentage point higher, 4% versus the 3.2% just announced by the Social Security Administration, says Mary Johnson, a Social Security policy analyst for the Senior Citizens League. Johnson bases that estimate on the rate of increase in the Consumer Price Index for the elderly, or the CPIE. The most recent data was released yesterday. So since 1975, the Social Security COLA has been calculated annually using the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, the CPIW. Still, oddly enough, that index does not survey the cost of retired households over the age of 62. Today, there are other consumer price indexes to choose from that better reflect inflation experienced by older Americans. Launched in 1983, the CPIE surveys the cost changes of households aged 62 and older. And we can see the chart up there on the screen. It basically compares the CPIW versus the CPIE from 2014 all the way up to 2024. And if we look at the bottom, it shows the total income, or what you would have received in total over that period of time had we been using the CPIE rather than the CPIW. And you can see on the left column, that is the CPIW, what we currently use. So from 2015 through 2024 in total, Social Security beneficiaries would have been receiving right around $174,930.90 in total. However, if we use the CPIE during that time, Social Security beneficiaries would have been receiving $176,029.50. So as you can see there, it would definitely be a good bit higher if they were using the CPIE during that time rather than the CPIW. And quite frankly, it doesn't really make that much sense. If we're going to have a cost of living adjustment for retirees, Social Security beneficiaries, why are we using an index that does not reflect the cost that they're actually faced with? So I think it really only makes common sense to switch that method over to the CPIE, and lawmakers in Washington finally might be getting that hint because a new bill would do just that. So according to Newsweek, Social Security update, benefits could get a major change under a new bill. So a new bill could bring higher Social Security payments for seniors as it looks to update the way yearly benefits are calculated. Seniors have complained for years that Social Security's cost of living adjustment doesn't take into account the full inflation they face on healthcare, housing, and groceries. If the Boosting Benefits and COLAs for Seniors Act gets passed, though, that could all change, and seniors would likely see higher yearly boost to their benefits. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, a New York Democrat, proposed the bill to help seniors who sometimes face higher inflation than the general population, reducing their purchasing power despite COLAs each year. The Boosting Benefits and COLAs for Seniors Act would factor the high cost of healthcare into Social Security benefit calculations and help make sure recipients aren't forced to choose between paying for their medication and buying other necessities. Today, the COLA for Social Security is calculated using the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. Under the Boosting Benefits and COLAs for Seniors Act, that would be updated to reflect the CPI for the elderly, which includes the surging cost of healthcare more significantly, as this tends to impact seniors more than other Americans. So again, this bill only makes the most sense. They should definitely be using an index of inflation that retirees, people 62 and older, would actually be faced with, rather than people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. So it really only makes sense, at least in my opinion. But let me know your thoughts in comments below. Do you believe that this bill should pass? We'd definitely love to read all your thoughts and comments below. But that's all I have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. And I will see you in the next video.